Welcome to Mind Over Matter, Episode 5, the TV show that gives your mental health a voice. Today's episode is all about finding strength in vulnerability. We begin with Stephanie, who shares her journey with chronic pain and endometriosis. Then Donna talks about how creativity and performance helped her rebuild confidence after loss and depression. And stay tuned till the end as we have a special guest, Kuda, who just released his album on iTunes. Let's dive in.
Hi and welcome back to those that have been here before, and for those that are joining us for the very first time, welcome to Mind Over Matter, the TV show that gives your mental health a voice. I'm Denny, and today we'll be discussing the topic of endometriosis. It's a condition that affects around 1.5 million women in the UK, and yet it takes an average of 8 years to get a diagnosis. This delay is often caused by factors that are similar to symptoms of other conditions. For Stephanie, this isn't just a statistic, it's her life. Welcome, Stephanie.
Hiya.
Thank you for coming here today to share your experience. So what's your story of how you was affected?
Sure, so it started off when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Obviously hormones come into play. So my first particularly bad experience with endometriosis was I was actually out with some friends for the day. I think it was like the school holidays, and we were miles away from home, just going out for the day, and all of a sudden I was just in so much pain and I was unable to walk, I was unable to stand up, sit up, and all I kept thinking was, how am I going to get home in this state, because I was in so much pain. So it was around when we didn't have phones either, so it was like, well, I have to get home somehow, so I just got on the train, came home. Didn't really know what it was at the time, but after a few more years of having these really bad flare-ups, I was then referred to a gynaecologist when I was 16.
Okay.
And that's when originally the gynaecologist who I saw told me to try and get pregnant at the age of 16. So that was his sort of consultation and diagnosis. If you can't have children, then you've got endometriosis. So, so I came out of that sort of meeting feeling really unheard, upset, and just sort of, you don't really know what way to go from there. So,
And what are the primary things that you can recall that impacted your life with those symptoms?
So, I mean, it affects every part of my life. So you can plan to do something one day and then you can wake up and be in absolute agony. It can come out of nowhere. The pain is just debilitating half the time. I can't even walk, so I have to crawl along the floor, things like that. So it does really affect my physical ability and my mental health as well.
Yeah. You say that you went to a gynaecologist. How long did it take to be referred to get your diagnosis?
Yeah, so all in all, I think it was 6 years that it took for me to actually get diagnosed, and that was when I was 18, and I had a laparoscopy operation, which then confirmed what we knew. But it was 6 years of, hell, being in pain. You don't know what's going on with your body, why, So, it was a real struggle.
And what's the treatment for that?
So there is technically no treatment for endometriosis. It is managed through the coil or the pill. So basically it's managed so you can control your periods, basically. So that's the only sort of treatment, and obviously the laparoscopy where you have your laser treatment. So
okay. So did you ever feel or experience any isolation, anxiety?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Especially, growing up when your sort of friends are going out and you're like, well, I'm in so much pain, I can't go out, things like that. So you do have to, plan things daily, because you never know how you're going to wake up the next day. You could be in pain or not. So it just kind of varies, really.
You said earlier it's like an invisible illness. So when you're going through that, how do you get people to understand?
It's really hard because you may look like you're okay on the outside, but on the inside you could be feeling like you're dying. So it's quite hard to sort of get people's mind into thinking, well, actually, I may look okay, but you're not inside, if that makes sense.
Yes,
so it is really hard. Because it's just a perception, isn't it? What people see, they're not feeling what I'm feeling. So it's quite hard.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. So for some people still waiting for answers, what advice would you give them?
Keep going back to a gynaecologist, preferably a female, because male gynecologists aren't going to have a clue about female issues. So I would recommend to speak to a female gynaecologist.
Yeah.
But like I say, waiting lists and stuff like that is quite a struggle. So just keep pushing, I would say.
Yeah. So is there anything that you want to add that would help our audience learn from this experience that you've gone through?
Yeah, sure. So I have actually recently found out that endometriosis is not just a gynecological problem.
Okay.
So it does actually affect your whole body. And they've actually done some scientific research into your sort of DNA and how the tissue can travel around other parts of your body as well. So it does actually affect your whole body in terms of if you're having a flare-up, your body's trying to fight something that's going on inside, so it affects your whole body. Exhaustion is probably the worst one for me, because you feel like you can keep going and live a normal life, but then the next day you'll be absolutely exhausted to the point where I can't physically get up or keep my eyes open. So it is a struggle sometimes. So.
And because obviously young girls and women, but particularly the young girls that are affected from a young age and don't actually know what's going on, is there anything or any system that goes around to the schools to educate?
No, not that I know of. I mean, I didn't know about endometriosis. I mean, my mum had it, so it is hereditary, so that's the only thing I kind of knew about it. But growing up at school, you don't learn about these sorts of things. And I think when you're first going through those hormones and figuring out your body, if something doesn't feel right or it is literally so painful and it's not like other people's normal sort of pain when you have your menstrual cycle, then these things need to be addressed with your GP, and then they can hopefully refer you on to the correct people. But knowing your body and knowing what is right and what's not right, because I just thought this is normal until you sort of, learn about it, and then actually you have got something wrong with you. So it's really important to keep going to your GP if you're having abnormal symptoms. That's what I would say.
Okay, that's great information. So for yourself, what have you put in place for you to get through each month?
Well, like I say, it just depends. You can't plan for anything. So, one month could be really bad, the next month could be fine. So it just varies really. So it can come out of nowhere, the pain. So there's no real sort of telling when it can happen, which is also another sort of barrier in terms of a invisible illness, because well, actually, you were all right yesterday, so why aren't you all right today? Well, it's actually, well, I've woken up in severe pain today. So there's a difference between knowing that as well.
Oh, okay. And also, with having that you don't know when it's going to happen, you just have to, how do you prepare for something, for yourself? How do you prepare for something like that?
I think I just have to, I think after lots of years of having to stay at home when I've been in pain instead of going out to social events or work. I think just doing what you can when you can and enjoying the good times when you can, because you might have a really bad day tomorrow. So just live every day as you can.
And well, that's really good advice there. So how has it impacted your work life?
Oh, greatly. I've had to have a lot of time off work.
And do they understand what you're going through?
I don't think a lot of workplaces in my past have understood my situation. I know a lot of work's being done now where they are trying to give people time off work at certain times of the month,
Yeah.
that sort of thing, or being
Okay.
able to work from home when you're in such severe pain, things like that. So I know they are starting to do make adaptations for people with endometriosis, but it's not enough, because when you're in so much pain, you can't work for that week. You've lost a week's worth of money.
Yes.
So it's got a rolling on effect of everything else. So
right,
it is
okay.
a major impact, and a lot more needs to be done to
Right,
support
so,
women.
yeah. So the impact is financial,
Yeah.
mental,
Yeah.
physical.
Yeah.
So it's a lot going on.
And then
there.
again, you're forcing yourself to go to work when you're
Yeah.
in pain because you need to earn money. So
Yeah.
it's just an endless cycle.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite tricky.
Yeah, it's tricky, and I feel that you've been so brave in,
Oh, thank you.
tackling this situation. And thank you for coming and sharing that. It's important for these issues to be out there. So if anyone is affected by this, so you can, if you have chronic pain or any symptoms, you can contact Endometriosis UK helpline. That's 0808 808 2227. And you can also contact them on www.endometriosisuk.org. So thank you so much, Steph, for sharing this information. This story was very, very powerful and will help a lot of people moving forward. It was a real pleasure talking and for you to all share this with us today. Now let's keep it moving with another exciting topic with our next guest, Donna.
Hello and welcome to Mind Over Matter, the show that gives your mental health a voice. My name is Sophia and today I've been joined by a truly inspirational woman. She's turned her struggles into strengths. She's built confidence through a career in modelling, a foster parent, has gone through building her own business, has experienced divorce and is here today to tell us her story. Welcome, Donna, to the show.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
What an incredible story. Where do we start with your story? Take us back to the beginning.
Okay, so when I was 17 years of age, I started with an academy that was teaching about deportment. It was never that I wanted to get into modelling. It was just something my friend asked me to join her with. Thoroughly enjoyed that. I ended up working for the company, and then in 1997 I actually started my modelling agency, which is Little Adults Academy of Modelling. From that I then went on to do photography for my models, and now I've done weddings all around the world: Dominica, St Lucia, New York, Jamaica, Portugal. And then I got married, I had my little one, and I started fostering. So over a 13-year period I actually fostered 23 children. And then unfortunately from 2018 I've had approximately 19 deaths in the family, and obviously divorce, and then there was many other struggles as well. And obviously we went through the pandemic. Gardening was my therapy, and from that I actually used the photography as building my confidence. A lot of people used to say to me, like, how are you doing what you're doing? And I just used the formula of the deportment to actually build up my confidence in what I was doing thereafter.
So is it the experience from your modelling career, your modelling world, that pushed you kind of through these dark periods, would you say?
100%. You know, what I actually did is I turned into an actress.
Yeah.
So when friends would say to me, like, Donna, how are you doing this? It was like, it's not actually happening to me, because it's not, I'm just playing a role at the moment. And then what I did is, like, months or years afterwards, that's when I'd actually reflect back on what happened. And obviously you have the tearful moments, but it was that moment in time where I needed to have strength and I had to build up my self-esteem. So having the classes, the workshops, which were a reflection of what I'd actually learned, that's what actually helped me to get through my struggles.
Incredible. So you started off as a career in modelling. Would you say you were quite a confident person growing up?
No, I was very shy. I wouldn't speak to absolutely anyone, to be honest with you.
Interesting,
So
yeah.
when I got into the modelling field, which was not about doing modelling at all, it was just, as I said, it was literally just fun. And then I actually started to train children for the company I was working for. They loved me so much, and I decided, when my dad actually passed away in my early 20s, I said I wanted to do something that I love. I had so much love inside of me. I felt like I wanted to give it to somebody, and I thought children are so innocent. So when I started the modelling agency, it was a children's modelling agency, and then it went on to being an adults agency, to be honest with you. But I worked with a lot of the children in East End, because that's where it's from, Stratford, and then it just grew. I've had people from Ireland, Scotland, everywhere. They've actually joined the agency, to be honest with you.
And is that experience working with children led you to foster care as well?
Yes.
Or were they kind of alongside each other?
It is, because I love children.
Yeah.
I can go anywhere in the world and there is going to be a child that's going to look at me, or I'd laugh and I'd say, I bet you know that I'm a photographer, and I start to wave, and then the parent looks at me and smiles. I just think I've just got that aura because I'm always smiling.
Yeah.
That's my just general, that's my go-to. I smile. That's what my dad was like, and I've just taken on his.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I suppose fast forward where you are now and what you do now. Tell us about what you do now, your work you do with young people today.
So basically what happened is I done a photography business, and then I went on to do Diamond Inspired Youth Workshops, which I actually opened last year. The reason being is because of the fostering. I felt like people that have been through struggles need to be able to have that ability to know where to actually put this energy. And sometimes, especially in foster care, anybody who's been through any form of grief or depression, to be honest with you, and that can just be general, it could be bullying, it could be a death in the family, they need to have something, a tool in which to come out of that. So for me, the workshops that I actually do are there to actually help you and assist you, but without you even realising. So it's almost like you're being taught something, but you don't realise you're being taught that the simple criteria of how to build up your self-esteem and confidence.
Absolutely. And how important is that for you when you look at young people today, when you see, the excessive use of social media, for example? How important or how fragile is confidence for young people nowadays?
It's essential. It's 100% essential, because when you go for an interview, they are looking at you as the individual. They see you on a piece of paper, yes, or email, etc. But then it's when they actually see you, that's when they actually feel, okay, this person is confident enough to do the job. And if you can't sell yourself as a person, it's somebody else is actually going to get the job. And that's why the workshops were done from the modelling field, of modelling criteria, because when you go for a casting, you are going to go against many other children or adults for the job. You also have to learn about rejection, because it's part of the criteria.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you could be put forward for a job. I've done emails to clients and sent 100 people for one job, and then they go on and there might be 50 people from different agencies.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to confidently express who you are, and then you have to be confident enough to know, I might not get this job, and if I don't, it's not about me. It's not personal.
Absolutely.
It's just you're not the right criteria for what they're actually looking for.
And rejection is
at the
part
time.
of life, isn't it? As you mentioned
100%.
before, when we had a nice chat outside of the studio.
Yes.
Rejection is part of life, in relationships, in works, in friendships.
Yes, it is.
It's part of life, and they have to build that resilience, I suppose.
Yes.
And manage that.
Yes,
Manage
it
those
is.
expectations.
Yeah.
What is it about art in general? What is it about the creative arts, photography, painting? What is it about those things that build confidence? What makes them special?
For me, to be honest with you, it is, like I said at the beginning, it's about like going back to being an actress. It's going into something that you're not actually conscious that you're actually doing. So, for example, when we're doing the walk, I will be saying to them to walk in front of a crowd of people. I remember going to the Isle of Wight and training a group of children there, and there was like 20 children, and by the end of an hour I had them doing the catwalk, doing half turns, presenting, saying their names, and their parents were like, oh my gosh, she won't even talk at home, because I'm doing it in such a way that you don't realise that you're being taught it.
Right.
And then before you know it, you're actually doing it, and then it's like, oh, I just done it, and it's not so bad. Then it's just getting them to do the criteria of joining together of, I've just done this, let me adapt it to life skills.
Right.
Because that's what it is, it's
Yeah.
life skills.
Absolutely.
Going for a casting is exactly the same thing as going for a job interview. Doing the Walking in Confidence workshop is exactly the same as walking into the room and saying, I'm here and I'm confident in my own skin of who I am, and I'm happy to do whatever they've
And
asked.
that's, when you've got that confidence, that's with you for life.
It is.
And that takes you on any journey. And you
it's
can deal
taken
with
me
anything in life,
It
can't
is,
you? I
yes.
suppose when you have that kind of confidence.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier as well, just outside the studio, we had a really good chat about something called inner confidence against outer confidence. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
A lot of people, to be honest with you, they do one or the other. They work on the inside, the emotional side, building up their confidence within inside themselves, emotionally, spiritually, and that's good, because it's very important that you have mental strength. The mental strength is being able to deal with these situations and say to myself, okay, I've been through this, how am I going to deal with it? It might be through meditation, it might be through yoga, it might be through badminton. Outer confidence is how you present yourself. So, for example, your hair, as long as you're happy with it, it doesn't have to be the hair colour or the hairstyle that I like, it's what you like as a person. How you dress, it has to be representation of what you want to look like. And then it's just simple things like going for massages, having your nails done. It doesn't have to be that. It's whatever makes you happy. Whatever makes you happy is going to make you feel more confident.
Yeah.
So it's not worth wearing the same outfit that your friend wears if you don't feel confident in it.
Yeah.
But if you feel confident in a frilly pink dress with purple hair and putting blue contact lenses in, if that makes you happy, then do it. But walk in confidence in that.
Yeah, exactly. And feeling that from the inside,
Yes.
from the inside out, I suppose.
Yes.
I work with a lot of young people actually, from the ages of 16 to 19, and I find that one of the biggest issues is also confidence or lack thereof. What advice would you give to young people, firstly, and what advice would you give to their parents, kind of dealing with these young people? And again, in the age of excessive use of social media, when they're bombarded with certain images, when they're hearing certain voices, what advice would you give to the young people, and what advice would you give to the parents about confidence and confidence building?
I've got a daughter and she's 13 years of age, and to be honest with you, I always say to her, it's important that you're beautiful on the outside, but it's more important to be beautiful on the inside. So kindness is really important. So it's just really training about respect, etc. But it's also as well, is to make sure that they understand that they do need to do activities outside.
Yeah.
If they are on social media all the time, to be honest with you, it's not building up their social skills. And that's the one thing that I feel that I'm really happy that I was born in the years that I was, because, you went outside to play, you met up with your friends. Now it's you meet up with your friends, and if you do, you're sitting down on your phone all the time.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
it is very important that they have activities outside. It's important to try and get activities that they enjoy. As I said, with the workshops, they are there to actually build up your confidence without actually realising that you're doing it.
Yeah. And activities that I suppose push you outside of your comfort zone, I think is the key, isn't it? It's just challenge you and make you feel a little bit, a bit nervous, but that's okay, right? So that risk is okay sometimes.
To be honest with you, if someone's building up their confidence, my advice would be to do something they enjoy and something that they are generally good at.
Okay.
The reason why is if you push someone who's not confident into something they're not good at, they will sometimes revert the other way.
Right.
So the confidence building side of it, to be honest with you, is very important that you start with something which is just nice, they enjoy.
Yeah.
So if, for example, they like gardening, as I said,
Yeah.
take them gardening. Just do it in their local garden by themselves, in their home environment. And then, for example, they might decide, okay, feel confident, go and do it at grandma's house, or go and do it at a neighbour's. So then they feel
Yeah.
confident because they can already see in a safe environment they feel fine, and then
Yeah.
they can move on from there.
That's really sound advice, actually.
Yes,
yeah. Just kind
definitely.
of planting that seed of confidence first,
Slowly but surely.
letting it grow.
Yes, and it's for the parent to have the eyes to see what the child is good at. Because sometimes a child can't see what they're good at, they just do things. But if you see that your child always gravitates to something, it might be, oh mum, I love to go for long walks, or oh mum, I like to go shopping, or mum, I like to be watching this particular programme, then it's for the mum to actually say, okay, this is what they really enjoy doing, and I'm going to let them enjoy that, what they're going to do, and then we're going to take it further to something else. As I said, for myself, the creative arts, it's not the normal curriculum, but believe me, a lot of people learn better that way
Yeah.
than they probably would do through the curriculum. And I think that's one of the problems with schools at the moment, to be honest with you, because people are being trained in a particular way, but not everybody learns that way. I didn't learn that way. I learn on the job. Anything that I do, I
Yeah.
have to learn on the job. I cannot sit at a computer and learn it. I have
Yeah.
to be physically involved, then I actually understand it.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why I'm doing the workshops as well.
And I suppose in that sense, confidence takes different forms. It's not just, being confident to put your hand up in the class. It's confidence of, picking up something with your hands, like you do. You must have green fingers. You know, you're a gardener and an artist. So it's you. It's like taking something in your hands and doing it. So confidence takes different forms, I suppose, as well.
Loads of different forms.
So tell us a bit more about your workshops, where you're at now and what you're doing.
So we've got 4 various workshops, and that's personal presentation skills, walking in confidence, and holistic healing and studio photography boot camp. And so basically with those photography workshops, any of them you can actually do. We're doing a taster session where some of them are actually going to be free of charge, and you can actually find that on the website. So that's www.littleadultsagency.co.uk.
Wonderful. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
True inspiration,
Thank
really.
you.
Thank you guys for watching at home. Join us again in another episode for Mind Over Matter.
If these stories have touched or inspired you so far, don't forget to like and subscribe. Up next, we'll hear from Kelly, Kirsty and Kuda. 3 very different journeys that all reflect the strength of people pushing through trauma, womanhood, creativity and self-empowerment. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Hi, and welcome to Mind Over Matter, the TV show that gives your mental health a voice. I'm Stephanie, and today we'll be talking about chronic illnesses. In the UK, there is around 26 million people who live with chronic illnesses, and most of them have been diagnosed in early years. Despite everything that Kirsty, our guest, has been told, she is a miracle story that I've loved to listen to. So welcome, Kirsty, to the show.
Thank you.
So I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about your sort of story, really, because you were told at the age of 18 months that you would never walk, have children and have a career. So how did that all sort of come about that you are who you are and such a success today?
Hi. Well, I'd like to start basically, obviously, like you said, from 18 months old, so I don't know any different. And throughout my life, you know, I've, like anybody else, there's been challenges that I've struggled with, but with a strong mind, attitude and a clear focus of vision, I've achieved many things.
You have
and
indeed, yeah.
proud of that.
Absolutely, you should be. So also, you've had, is it correct, 2 cardiac arrests?
Yes,
Right.
so basically last year, I mean, like we said, I've been in that hospital a lot since I was a child, but last year was probably the scariest point for me. I was only supposed to go into hospital for 2 to 3 days, and I was actually in hospital for 5 months.
Oh my gosh.
Following planned surgery where I had 2 cardiac arrests.
Oh my gosh, that's just
So-
crazy, isn't it? So going back to your career as well at the moment, so you are actually an
You transplant cardiothoracic background.
I was going to say, I'll let you say that.
Yeah.
So do you think that's had any impact, how your career has come about? Do you think it kind of fits in with how you've been with your illnesses? Is there some sort of link between the two there?
Yeah, yes, I would say 100%. When I was little, you know, having lots of doctors and nurses and other healthcare professionals look after me and care for me and save my life numbers of times, where I'd be eternally grateful for the rest of my life. I've always wanted to make a difference and help, you know, the
Someone else in the same position,
kind
I
of
guess. isn't it?
position. And yeah, from ever since I can remember, there's pictures of me at home in a little nurse's outfit. And yeah,
And
that's
you were
what I
in Great
wanted to do.
Ormond Street as well, weren't you?
I
Quite a lot of
was.
time, yeah.
Well, so following 18 months
Amazing
old.
charity as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And with, you've got 2 children, is that correct?
I have.
Yeah. Have they been your sort of main sort of getting you through life, if that makes sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sadly, one of my babies is, he's no longer here with us.
Sorry to hear.
You know, but I've got my little rainbow baby.
Sure.
And she's an inspiration in herself. She gives me so much strength.
Yeah.
You know, and I am a strong believer, everything happens for a reason, we don't know why, but if my little boy was still here, I wouldn't have my beautiful little girl.
Right, yeah,
So,
exactly. And resilience as well, isn't it? And your mindset. Do you think that's had quite a big play in being able to get through life?
Yes, without a doubt. I don't think if I didn't have the resilience and the strength and the belief in myself, I don't think I'd be here like where I am today.
Because we were talking before, weren't we, about how you actually put yourself into the cross country because you were told you shouldn't be running and doing things like, you know, exercise, but you signed yourself up to the cross country and you came second. So
I did.
That is just an achievement in itself. So,
Yeah.
you know, if someone telling you you can't do something, you've just gone and done it anyway.
Done it.
And
It's a
you've
bit
exceeded.
like the saying, you know, waving a red flag in front of a ball. If someone says I can't do something, I'm going to
go and do it
prove you
anyway.
wrong.
Absolutely. And just touching on a little bit about domestic abuse. So being at home should have been your safe place, but unfortunately it wasn't. Do you mind sort of elaborating a little bit on the sort of situation?
Yes. So, you know, from that situation now, I look at it as, yes, I was a victim, but now I'm a survivor.
Yeah,
and it can
absolutely.
happen to the strongest of us.
Yeah.
And if I can make a difference to just one person at least by giving them the strength and the voice to speak up and not feel ashamed, because when it happened, I did feel guilty, like, you know, is this my fault?
Yeah.
But actually, you know, it's
Unfortunately,
not.
that's what abusers do, isn't it? They make you feel like it's, you know, you're the one with the problem, isn't it?
100%. And as well, someone actually said to me, and I stand by actually, revenge is to live your life to the fullest.
Yeah.
And I'm making sure I'm doing that.
Absolutely. No,
So,
you are a credit to yourself. So
Thank you.
I also see that you have some of your pageantry titles there. So
Yes.
you've been doing a little bit of pageantry. So we did meet during Miss Britannia, didn't we? So,
did.
So you've been doing some more things since we've seen
Since we've
each
come
other.
about.
So what have you been up to in the meantime?
So the first one was obviously Wear and Make Yourself, and when I won Miss Britannia 2025. And then this one is my little girl. That's kind of how it's all started. She was like, Mum, can we do one together? So now I'm doing IGM UK, Miss London with her.
Oh, sweet.
And
That's
then
nice.
this one here is Miss Warrior. So it's for those with hidden disabilities and illnesses, you know, just because you might have health implications, you can still do it.
Yeah.
And there's living proof.
Absolutely. Oh,
And then-
well done. Yeah, no,
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well. I mean, it's just an incredible story.
Yeah,
And
thank
what would you say, as you've achieved so much despite the odds, what would you say to someone who's been told similar things to yourself, like they can't do this or they're not able to do that? What would you say to that person?
I'd be saying to them, you know, just be hopeful and believe in yourself. You know your own body and you know how far you can push yourself and your capabilities, and living for that moment in time. You know, medical research, as we know, is changing all the time. But I think looking at your mind, you've got to have that inner belief and strength of yourself, and that helps with having a loving, supporting network, family and friends
Absolutely.
as well. So,
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today, Kirsty.
You're welcome.
And if you or anyone else you know or yourself is struggling with any chronic health conditions, you can actually get some free support from the Samaritans, and that's 24/7, and the number for that is 116 123. And now let's keep the conversation going with Anastasia and Kuda, who will be talking about food addiction and how he's overcome that. I've been Steph. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you.
Hi, and welcome back to Mind Over Matter, the TV show that gives your mental health a voice. My name is Anastasia, and today we'll be talking about how our guest's journey has been shaped by food addiction and bullying. And apparently they are experiencing neurodivergent traits too. Today, 1.25 million people in the UK have an eating disorder, so this has a big impact on many lives. However, this does not stop Kuda Kwashe, our guest, and creativity became a safe place for him. Let's welcome our special guest, Kuda Kwashe.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here.
My
It's
pleasure.
amazing to have you on.
Yeah, no, it's great to be here, to be part of this.
Yes. So please introduce us, your story and how you became an artist.
Yeah. Okay, my name is Kuda Kwashe, born and raised in Harare, Zimbabwe. So, yeah, I became an artist at, about 13 is when I discovered music, and this is through one of my uncles who, based in America. You can find him over there. So, yeah, art became a safe place for me just to, kind of express, a lot of, difficult emotions. As as mentioned, I went through, bullying for the main thing was, my weight. So that's where the food addiction came into play because, it was a source of comfort. And actually, having spoken to one of my therapists, she was able to identify that through food as a coping, mechanism. That was just to kind of, kill that pain as soon as possible, without, having to go through that emotion of processing whatever, horrible experience or, trauma, happened and just, letting it sit for a little while, which is something that in recent years, I'd say maybe in the last like 15 years of my life that I've gotten more towards, being able to take the time to really process and address what happened and look at the root causes of it.
Okay, and it's really good that it didn't stop you
Yep.
from fulfilling your dream. And what role did food play emotionally in your life growing up?
I mean, I'd say it's layered. For starters, that's the comfort. The comfort where there wasn't that backlash or sense of being attacked or whatsoever. Just for being you. And I would say food as well. I also relate that to time with family, friends, camaraderie, and bonding. How people kind of bond. That's whether it's bonding through family, friends, through business, and even relationships. That usually involves that. So that while there's something that I've struggled with, but I've also seen that as a way to kind of make connections. With people, bringing people together.
Yes, and would you say food addiction and comfort eating?
Yep.
Is it the same thing, or does it just link together?
Definitely linked together, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd say it's one and the same thing, but they're definitely connected.
Because comfort eating is basically an addiction.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Basically, like if eating is a way to kind of respond to some difficult emotions, and as a place to once you get into that space and let's say you've got a trauma that happened to you and you get that blocker where you don't know how to kind of step back from it,
Yes.
think about it logically, the motion of that. So when that pain gets a little bit much, you kind of reach to the quickest source of comfort.
Yeah, that makes sense. And did bullying impact the way you viewed your worth?
At one point, yeah. At one point, it definitely, it did.
How?
I mean, I would say, because for instance, when it comes to, being, bullied about my weight before.
Yeah.
And in my younger years, I'd say that's something that definitely affected, my confidence, especially when the certain, ideas, are planted of, in order to be, rewarded, to be favored, you've got to appear, a certain way, in order to be taken seriously, to be given credit, or at least to be heard, so to speak.
Yeah.
So at one point, that definitely, knocked my confidence. So, but going through that motion, that's why I felt like, that's why I go as hard as I do in terms of, my creativity, which is one way that I certainly stand up for those that's, without a voice, because I know what it's like to go through that, to feel like, you have to fight to, to get your point across and to be heard.
Yes.
you know, so to speak. So with that, while it did affect my confidence at one point, but that was also my motivator to, that's also something that fueled that determination to, to achieve what I set out to.
Exactly. And obviously that's the bully's motive, to bring the person's confidence down.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah. And understanding neurodivergence, you mentioned noticing traits of neurodivergence.
Yep.
How does this blend with your creativity? Can you tell us how your mind works when you're creating art?
Ooh, that's a good one right there. It's really hard to to put it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
As to as to how that works. I mean, I would say for instance, I've got a very vivid imagination, and I try to keep as close to the truth as possible.
Yeah.
So with that, just kind of, I guess I can explain it and give it to you in effect.
Yeah.
Even so, what I draw from experience, and sometimes even draw from, conversations that I could be having. So take, my latest single, Crazy, for example.
Yeah.
So that's, that one is really standing up for people that have been, misunderstood, people that have been told they've got to water down and shrink down in order to be accepted.
Yes.
So, so because I've experienced that, so the motivation for Crazy was kind of, standing up for people that have been through that. So the way my mind works in this case, how that came about. So I was actually talking to, my good friend, Maya Azucena, who's another collaborator on the album, and she's actually appearing on the next single that's following, Crazy. So we were just having a conversation, and she was asking me about, some of the things that I experienced in my days as a mental health practitioner. So she was asking about that, we're talking, and I explained to her that I've always had it in my vision to at least start the wave, if not be the one who destigmatizes the word crazy.
Yes.
So when she said that to me as a joke, and she said, yeah, we should do a song called Crazy. So she was joking, but to me, I actually, had a light bulb moment and, figured out exactly how to express that finally. So some of these things, it's basically how you feel. So my mind is very much connected to the way that I feel about things, and
And you put it in your music.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really inspiring. And so moving on to resilience and reflection,
Yeah.
what's the biggest shift you have made in how you see yourself now compared to the past?
I mean, for one thing, I'd say, definitely having been on both sides of the fence of, of the bullying, and, moving out of fear, but, stepping out of that and, being that, that soldier in the face of adversity, or challenge, and just, just realizing that, for instance, this is for anybody else that's, ever had a hard time, being on the receiving end of bullying. So the people that tend to be the aggressors, this is stemming from their own internal issues that they have. So, that's, something that happens when, they feel threatened by you, by your presence. And this is some of the feedback that I've had from people that have often, stood with me and, been on my side.
Yeah.
That, when I walk in the room, people notice, the energy, just kind of shifts. And, you know immediately that there is something, different about me. Some might even say an aura, for example. So I've learned, one of the things that I know that I've learned is to not feel guilty about that. Because
Yeah.
it's just, if it's something that you're born with, if it's something that's from, who you are as a person, why not own that? Just because other people feel some type of way about you owning, that confidence. And also remembering that developing that confidence, people see that now, but they don't see the brutal process that I went through to develop that confidence.
Exactly, yeah. And your latest song carries a really powerful message.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what inspired you to make it, and what you hope your audience will take away from it after listening?
Okay, so
because it is an amazing song,
thank you.
and well done for releasing it.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and just want to say thank you to everybody that's been checking out Crazy, seeing the video, stream the song. This is just my way of letting you know that if you're misunderstood, if you've been told to water yourself down, and really if you've been told to change yourself to be a version that everybody else accepts, I see you. Somebody is going to see you. So with Crazy, that's kind of, coming from a place where I've, been blessed to have people in my life that not only see me and hear me, and accept me, but actually appreciate and love me and, love me for who I am, appreciate, what it is that I bring to the table.
Yeah.
So the main message I want to, take, drive with Crazy is that what most people call crazy, that stems from a lack of understanding. How often does this happen where in society, when people see, a person or something that they don't understand, the instinct is to call it crazy if it doesn't fit the frame of reference.
Yes.
If it's not like anything that's, they've ever seen before or what they call normal, it's easier to just dismiss it and call it crazy. But that thing that people call crazy might just turn out to be your gift.
Exactly.
It might just turn out to be, it may just turn out to be your gift.
Because what is normal these days?
Exactly. So exactly what is normal these days?
Yeah.
So, as I've been, you might, see that on my Instagram for people that have, supported me, I adopt you as my warriors. So if you've been called crazy, or if whatever you're doing has been called crazy, that might just be your gift. The people that call that crazy feel threatened by it. People fear what they don't, what they don't understand.
Turn it into a positive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You could turn it into your positive. And just like I hope my story will, but if you've been called crazy, been, misunderstood, been a misfit, one day your story and what you've gone through will become somebody else's blueprint, survival guide.
Yes. Very true.
Because for one thing, one of the gifts that come with Crazy is that ability to stay cool in the chaos.
Yeah.
The chaos that everybody else runs from, I'm the kind of person that stays cool right in it. I'm, comfortable there. Some situations, granted, might be difficult. I might feel the effects of it afterwards, but especially if it's in the spirit of helping somebody, I've got it down to, to the point where I'm able to deal, with all that afterwards. But in the moment that somebody needs my help, I need to be there for somebody, I will be there.
Yeah.
I've developed a high pain, threshold for that. I can still feel it, but just because you don't see me visibly break down and be affected by it, that's just the mark of resilience right there.
Yeah.
So I say, if you've been called crazy or what you're doing is called crazy, my warriors, keep going.
And take it as a positive.
Definitely.
And so if you could go back and talk to younger Kuda Kwashi,
Yep.
What would you tell him today if you were looking back?
I would tell him that everything that you've been through, there is a blessing hidden in those. Tap into that. There's an amazing life and there's extraordinary experiences waiting for you on the other side of that pain. Hold on. Don't give up.
That's
Keep
amazing.
going.
That is really powerful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Now, thank you for having me.
People can find your album on iTunes.
Yep, so they can find...
Link below.
Yep.
And yeah, that's brilliant.
Thank you.
Now, to spice the show up a bit.
Hey.
Let's do a rap, a short rap snippet of
Crazy.
either of Crazy, or you can make one up, improvise.
Ooh,
however you want to do it.
I usually don't get into, freestyling, but
Okay, yeah.
Let me give you,
From Crazy.
Yeah, let me give you one verse from Crazy and give you one motivational verse from another track that's not out yet, that's off the album.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so for Crazy, it took a lot of patience for the favorite result. I was a child that survived and creative adult. Fruit tree of my labor, I made it from mulch. When masses follow, of course it will be labeled a cult. They'll see the success, but not the blood, sweat, and tears. It's comedy when I'm pouring out the love, shedding tears. Now sharp as a blade, I'm on Ginsu. They see the cuts, but they don't know the process that I went through. Starting out, it was all cakes and batter. Get deeper in this real life, snakes and ladders. Walking on the edge, keeping my heart and head through it. How I felt, they ignored the disrespect that led to it. Savage just to let them know not to play with me. I keep it 100, reverse if they want to take 50.
Well done. That is amazing.
So that's from Crazy. Thank you.
I'm going to download it now.
So Crazy, that's on all streaming platforms, so that's taken off of the, upcoming album, Sunshine City Spirit. And there'll be another time that we can explain the concept behind that album right there, and resilience, that, hope right there.
Yes.
And let's see, the last little snippet that I'll give you is from a track on the album called OG and Boss Grind, featuring Bexlou.
Okay.
Those who told me and showed me I'm committed to doubt you. I didn't do it alone, but still I did it without you. Same people that'll aim to defame you and shame you. Same crew see you winning. They the first ones to claim you. Everybody wants to try the crown. Can't play the role. Question if I'm capable to where the crown is going for it. When it's less than, the opposite of favorable. Never mind, chase the goal. That's why I'm irreplaceable. Yeah, in case you may be wondering what I say to my haters, I'm a quote Lady London. I give a damn. I don't got to think it through. I don't care what you think of me when I don't think of you. Even people whose name I bear wouldn't count me in the dinner. I'll be waiting for the claim when they announce me as the winner to meet. It's not enough to just be related to. As we celebrate, I think of everything we made it through.
Well done. I love the beat.
That was a cappella for that.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me.
Thank you. So that's our guest for today, and yeah, we'll definitely stay in touch.
Yeah, we'll definitely. We'll definitely stay in touch, and because it means everything to be part of Mind Over Matter.
Yes.
So I can tell you for sure that there's a whole lot more exclusives, coming up. So the other thing that's to look out for. Based on the album, I'll also be doing, affirmations like, soulful storytelling and motivational affirmations to help you reset your mind. So keep a lookout for that.
Yes.
And then for other exclusives behind the album, before I dish them out anywhere else, catch it right here. If, I get that invitation right here on Mind Over Matter.
Of course.
That'll be the beacon for all exclusives in the future.
Thank you very much.
Now, thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
So, if you think you are struggling with eating disorders, support is available on Beat Eating Disorder website. You can find a lot of information and their helpline, and is the link below. Thank you so much, Kuda Kwashi, for sharing your story with so much honesty, and it was a real pleasure talking with you today.
No, it was a pleasure talking to you too, and thank you for having me. And
Thank you.
hopefully people take away, the positive, lessons, and hopefully, this kind of changes a lot more lives, positively. Just
Yes.
And love the amazing work that that y'all are doing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome everybody to our Mind Over Matter panel, and we're going to be just talking about a general discussion about women empowerment, upliftment, creativity, and what is it that we have that defines us. So I'd like to welcome my guests. We have Kirsty on the end here. Welcome, Kirsty.
Thank you.
We have Donna and we have Kuda. Welcome everybody. So what does women empowerment look like to you? What is that thing that you associate with yourself to make yourself feel great and feel wonderful?
For me, it's confidence. Inner confidence, I think, shines through so much more than anything. I think if you speak to a lot of people, especially in relationships, what attracts is the confidence. It's, we're in a world today where there's so many beautiful people, different mixes, etc. But when you meet someone who's confident from within, it speaks volumes about the person, and I think that just makes you think, well,
So it's about working on yourself all the time.
Self-esteem.
So when it comes to creativity, what's the creativity that demonstrates your power?
I think your attitude. I think the way you present yourself. There's a lot of like yourself. There's not enough positivity in the world. And being more positive and kind and empathetic
100%.
Shows the right mindset on that.
So for myself, I have a little mantra that keeps me going that I always say, and that is to change is to transform. To transform is to become is to believe is to achieve. So that's what I always say that to just keep myself going, because a transformation isn't something that happens overnight. It's a daily transformation. So how do you guys feel about that?
I have a simple one. Fake it until you make it.
Okay. Okay.
Very simple.
Actually,
very
I'm-
catchy.
I'm going to challenge that one, because one thing, one
I
thing
like
I
the
could,
challenge.
one thing, I would say, that could, play a major part in healing is, just a reminder, basically when women are reminded of their beauty from within, the soul, the grace that y'all carry yourselves with, just that reminder
Yeah.
right there. I say that because from my experience, I would not be the man that I am if it wasn't for the amazing, strong women in my life that raised me. So I am one person that knows very well that none of us would be here without the strength of women. The strength, the grace, and the poise that y'all carry yourselves with, and it's so much pain that y'all go through that
This
goes
is so
unnoticed.
powerful.
Yes. Well, thank you for acknowledging that.
Yes.
That just goes unnoticed.
Yes.
Yes.
So with that, being said, I mean, I could say that I'm one lucky man to have this. Like, even with, with my lady, when you love that woman, right, and you treat her well, remind her, embrace those beauties, those vulnerabilities, everything that comes with it. Watch the glow that happens right there. When you,
Yeah.
if basically, it's kind of like, I say this to all the men out there. Taking care of, of the women in your life is kind of like growing orchids. Forget all the noise of all the fancy soils and fertilizers or whatever that's out there. The main thing, the main ingredient is that time and attention. When you pay attention and you know your woman, you know what she brings to the table, when you know her love language, how to love her right, embrace her fully, watch the glow up that happens, and watch the happiness and the serenity and the peace that comes your way, the blessing that finds you from that.
Oh my goodness, that's absolutely beautiful.
Going on from there, I was at a networking meeting this week, and
Yeah.
a gentleman was speaking about relationships,
Yeah.
and he said, the man is the earth and the woman is the flower. So if the seed is planted in the earth and it's flowered, watered
Watered,
correctly,
yeah.
Yep.
she will bloom. And
Absolutely.
I do absolutely believe that.
Oh,
With
for
the
sure.
right earth,
Yes.
a
Yeah.
woman can do miracles.
Yeah.
She can actually move mountains.
Absolutely.
Being honest with you.
I mean, this is the extent to which I recognize, the power and the strength
Yeah.
in women. I mean, it's to the point where, like, even in my creativity and music, I see music in many different ways. And one of the ways that I see it is, think of it as like a, husband and wife. So the drums, the snares, the claps, that's like the husband comes in with that brute force. However, the woman is the melody.
Yes,
She
I
sets the
agree with that.
tempo.
Oh,
She
yeah.
sets the tone. Whether it's the mood, the happy, the sad, if she's the melody.
Yes.
She,
I always say that.
But I
yeah.
say, in addition to being a flower, women are like water. Take off forms, nobody can resist.
And I think as well, going back to basics for me, we spoke about it earlier, is it's the beauty is within.
Yep.
And beauty is in with the eye of the beholder, meaning our eyes never age,
Yeah.
our body does, and we should embrace that, what we've been
Yes.
gifted with. And as long as you fall in love with those eyes, and obviously a smile as well,
Absolutely.
and it's very deep within.
Yeah.
So if I can ask all of you, what is one thing that you would like to share with women out there that are missing that empowerment, that inspiration in their life? What is one thing that you would like to tell them, if you could?
I'll let Kirsty go first.
I'd like to say, and I do this often for myself actually, is I stand in front of the mirror and I have to have that belief in myself.
Absolutely.
And I always tell myself, I'm strong, I'm clever, I'm smart, I'm beautiful, and I'm me and I'm proud of me. And I think you should always hold your head up high, and stand tall.
Yes.
Because like we spoke earlier as well, about having the right attitude and the mindset and the confidence.
Yeah.
Without confidence, and give ourselves that focus and that vision
Yeah.
that we can achieve anything.
Yeah, I do agree with that as well. But just to add, I think confidence alone can't work unless you have the self-belief. You have to have the self-belief to
Yes.
move forward, and then you can achieve much, much more and use that confidence as well that you've been taught to move along with. And
Yeah.
what would your sentence be, or
My
that
say,
you would give to a woman?
That I'd say, just remember, that, you are a queen. I say this to say that, life is a lot like a game of chess. The woman represents the queen on the chessboard. Now, the king may be the king, but the queen is the power piece. The queen, the queen.
Yeah.
Yields
Tell you
all
all
power.
that,
Absolutely amazing. Well, guys, we have to round this up. This was an amazing, powerful panel. I love the conversation and the flow that we had here. So to all our viewers watching, thank you so much for joining us. This is Mind Over Matter. Please join us again on the next episode. Take care, and we'll see you again soon.
And that's it for today's episode of Mind Over Matter. Thank you for watching and being part of these powerful conversations. If any of these stories resonated with you, don't forget to like and subscribe, and visit our website to check out the official Mind Over Matter merchandise. You can also find us on Facebook, TikTok and Instagram, where you can find the highlights of each interview we do. And remember, you can catch the show every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m, now streaming on LG TV, Amazon Fire, E360 TV, Roku and Apple TV. Mind Over Matter, the TV show that gives your mental health a voice.